Bad objection number 3. The argument commits the fallacy of equivocation. In the first premise, cause means material cause, while in the conclusion, it does not. Response to objection number 3. This objection raises the question of what it means to commit the fallacy of equivocation. This fallacy is using a word in the same context with 2 different meanings. For example, suppose someone were to reason as follows. 1. Socrates was Greek. 2. Greek is a language. 3. Therefore, Socrates is a language. The untoward conclusion results from equivocating on the meaning of the word Greek, using it first to denote an ethnicity or nationality, and then later a language. Now, in formulating the Kalam Cosmological argument, I intended to speak of what Aristotle called efficient causes. Aristotle distinguished between efficient causes and material causes. An efficient cause is what brings an effect into being, what produces an effect in existence, while a material cause is the stuff out of which the thing is made. So, for example, Michelangelo was the efficient cause of the statue David, and the material cause of David was the block of marble that Michelangelo sculpted. My claim was that whatever begins to exist has an efficient cause, and therefore the universe, having begun to exist, must have an efficient cause. The charge of equivocation immediately evaporates. Objection number 7. The argument equivocates on begins to exist. In premise 1, everything that begins to exist has a cause. It means begin from a previous material state. But in 2, the universe began to exist. It means not from a material state. Answer to number 7. In order to defeat the allegation of equivocation, all one needs to do is to provide a univocal meaning for the phrase in both of its occurrences, and that's easy to do. By begins to exist, all I mean is comes into being. Everything that comes into being has a cause, and the universe came into being. No equivocation here. Now, if we want to, we can go still further and provide an analysis of what it means to begin to exist. Here is one such analysis. X begins to exist if and only if X exists at some time t, and there is no time t star prior to t at which X exists. This analysis is adequate for all practical purposes. It would allow even time itself to begin to exist. It would become problematic only in case one thinks that God is timeless without creation and enters time at the moment of creation. In such a case, God would exist at the first moment of time, t0, and there would be no time, t star, prior to t0, at which God existed. It would follow then from our analysis that God began to exist at t0, which is wrong-headed since God did not come into being at t0. Fortunately, this problem is easily fixed by amending our analysis as follows. X begins to exist if and only if X exists at some time, and there is no time t star prior to t at which X exists, and no state of affairs in the actual world in which X exists timelessly. So amended, the analysis does not imply that God began to exist at the first moment of time if he enters into time from a state of timelessness at the moment of creation. In sum, the objections to the second premise are just as bad as the objections to the first. The second premise is certainly a controversial premise, and it's open to debate, but not for the reasons alleged here.